Okay, it's recorded now. Got it. Okay. So we are recording now, and we wait that the first participants are arriving for our already fourth V-Label webinar today with Jennifer from the V-Label and Katie from the V-Label and me and myself, Svanjir from the V-Label. So it's really a webinar dedicated to the V-Label, but also to all our activities, which we'll explain here today. I still, as usual, maybe you have already participated in the former webinars. I let a little bit of time for the participants to arrive to this webinar. So just give me a very small introduction about the webinar structure of today. So we have two speakers, Jennifer and Katie, and both will have some important parts to share with you about the work of V-Label. So Jennifer will tell you a little about the story of V-Label, and maybe you have seen it, but in Switzerland, V-Label just won the 9th place out of almost 500 to be the most recognized brand in Switzerland, which is really super nice. So we are in the top 10. And so we also launched white papers. You can find them on the website. I will share to you the link later on. It's some theme-related content about, for example, plant-based dairy or plant-based meat alternatives. So we will give you a lot of content and input like today in the webinar. And there is a third news, which is coming quite soon because we launched for the very first time in the history of V-Label, the V-Label Awards. So this is also almost managed by Jennifer. Maybe she will tell you a little bit more about it, but we got hundreds of applications and we will soon announce the winners. And we are really happy because we got so many nice and interesting applications from all over Europe and maybe even the world. I'm not so quite sure. And so just to see the products and the innovations in the market are just so inspiring. But enough about the news of V-Label. We come back to the webinar of today. So Jennifer, she will present the results we have from our recently launched survey with more than 23,000 participants. 23,000 participants. So that was really a high score of participants sharing their opinion with us. So we asked them several questions, and Jennifer will explain you everything about what they said, what they wish for the market, and the tendencies and trends. And we will also give you a small analysis of how you can maybe use this data for your business, if you are starting your business or if you already have your business in the plant-based market. And then we send over to Katie. So she's the head of V-Label in Germany. She's working for Provert International. And she will give you an overview about the V-Label certification in general compared to other certifications and the certification process. Both, they will share some slides with you. And if you have not the time to watch the entire webinar, or if you need to leave, we know how it is at nowadays webinars, that sometimes there is someone knocking at the door or a dog is barking in the back, then you have to leave, no worries. We registered this webinar like we also made with our previous webinars, and we will send you the link so you can watch the replay afterwards. So if you didn't participate in the former webinars, this link is also quite useful to see the former webinars if you're interested. I think I didn't forget anything. Let me quickly present to you myself. So I'm Svanti, as I mentioned at the beginning. I'm with the V-Label since a couple of months. I am doing events since ever. So I studied event management, and since then I'm engaged in mostly ethical and ecological event management projects from all over the world. And with the V-Label, I'm organizing this webinar series. So we have today the fourth webinar, and we still have 3 very exciting webinars coming about vegan snacking and vegan dairy alternatives and vegan meat alternatives. So enough about everything. I hope that you are ready for our webinar. Then I would hand over to Jennifer. So she's joining us from Spain. I am not quite sure from where exactly, which region of Spain. But Jennifer, maybe you want to introduce yourself quickly to us.
Hello, good afternoon, everyone. I hope you can hear me, and thank you for joining. My name is Jennifer, and I'm working as a marketing project management at V-Label, and I'm based in Spain, in Barcelona. And yeah, I joined the V-Label, and one of the main projects I manage is the International V-Label Awards, as Sanchi said. very exciting. First time launching the awards, and we had 577 entries. So
oh, okay. I wasn't sure if it was really 500, but that's so much. Yes. Okay.
yeah. So that was really good from 36 different countries. Lots of super interesting stories that we are really looking forward to echo. And at the moment, we have the public voting has started, and well, finalists will be announced in mid-October. So stay tuned. And yeah, apart from that, I've been working with my colleagues in the communications and marketing department on many on this survey, but also on some of the trends that Sanche mentioned that there will be more webinars on with very interesting data about the market and very interesting probably to you too.
Thank you so much for this small introduction, Jennifer. So yeah, we're talking a lot about the consumer survey. This is a survey, just for your information. It's a survey which is to download on our website for free. So please don't hesitate to use this data for your business later on, because it's really interesting. And so I'm very excited that Jennifer will present now the results and her analysis about the consumer survey. So Jennifer, I'll let you share your screen with us.
Yeah, I'll share my screen and let me know if you can see it. I think you can see it.
Yes, we see it perfectly.
All right, so I think that Sanchi already introduced a little bit the topic about the consumer survey. This is a survey that we launched as the V-Label, and basically what we wanted to learn is how do conscious consumers, so meaning vegans, vegetarians, but also flexitarians, shop beyond 2020, so in 2021. Sanche said already that this can be downloaded from our website. Here you have the link, but don't worry, it will be shared also on the chat box. And I really encourage you to download it, because I'll take you through some of the results today, but I won't share every single detail. And also it's good if you can look at it in your own pace and also see what part of the data resonates best with you. But I hope to give you today an overview and a summary of the most important points that we found. First, I would like to explain a little bit why a survey. So to tell you why a survey, I need to start telling you about the V-Label, a little bit about its history, because not everyone knows that V-Label is actually a purpose-driven organization run by like-minded individuals. So this is not really an organization that saw the opportunity in the growing vegan, vegetarian, and flexitarian market and just tried to make money out of it. The V-Label actually started in 1996. So the first products were certified in 1996 by Swiss Veg. And 3 years later, in 1999, this initiative of actually having product declarations was presented to the different non-for-profit organizations around Europe in the European Vegetarian Union. And they were encouraged to also follow this initiative and implement it in their countries. So what I want to say with this is that it really started from experiencing the problem. People that really understood what it means to be vegan and vegetarian, and especially probably in the 90s, not today, they saw the value it has for a customer to easily recognize products that are vegan or vegetarian when shopping. Uh, we have also market proof, because the market has been growing, and actually the European Consumer Survey on Plant-Based Foods by Proveg declared that the European plant-based market grew 49% over the past 2 years. This is a survey from 2020. And we've actually, as an organization, we've also seen the growth. We have today more than 40,000 products certified all over the world. Now, we knew it from ourselves that this was important. We've seen the market growing and the number of products growing, but we also needed to ask our main stakeholder, the consumers, because although the label is probably a business-to-business kind of product, we license products, and our licensees are companies that are producing vegetarian or vegan products. The person that we need to please is really the consumer. If consumers don't see a value in our label, then there's no reason to be there. There's no reason to have it on the products. And although we kind of had the gut feeling that it's so valuable, because as I said, this is a purpose-driven organization run by like-minded individuals, so we really understand the consumer because we are consumers ourselves, but we really needed to get that proof as well. And that's why we launched the survey, to really not just have our gut feeling and our own personal experience, but to give voice to consumers and really let us know whether we were right in our assumptions that the label is very valuable. So the survey was launched by VLabel and promoted through social media and our partners' channels. VLabel is an organization that partners with many local organizations at a country level, non-for-profit organizations, and that's why we're able to be present in many countries and to give service in local languages and so on. So we are actually a network of organizations. And thanks to this wide network that we have, we were able to reach more than 23,000 shoppers, which is an astonishing sample. I think that many surveys would like to have such a sample. So the results are very solid and very relevant. 72% of the respondents consider themselves vegan or vegetarian, so very relevant to this market too. And we had participants from 40 countries, so this is a global survey, mainly from Europe and South America. So what did we learn from the survey now that you know a little bit why we did it and some of the main points about the survey? So we learned that certified products sell more. And how did we come up with this conclusion? So 91% of the consumers that we asked, and remember it's 23,000, prefer products with a certificate such as the V label. And actually half of it would definitely opt for such products. This is a really high percentage, and no wonder why that they prefer this kind of products, because actually there is high awareness about the V label. 95.4% have seen the V label, and almost the same percentage, so the same amount of people have bought items with the V label. So this is a really well-known label, and we're actively seeking for it. 89% of the consumers also responded that they find it very useful when shopping. And I can tell you myself, being vegan and everyone in our organization, it's very useful. You know, when you're shopping, it just makes everything faster, easier, and hassle-free. We also learned that trust makes the sales. 92% of the respondents declared that they would buy the product once they noticed it carries the V label, if they were in doubt about whether a product is vegan or not, or vegetarian or not. And of course, there's more and more awareness, and people are more and more educated about what ingredients are vegan or non-vegan, or vegetarian or not, but also that not everything is declared on the food label. So we see a lot of memes around on the internet, like vegans reading food labels and things like that, but we know more and more that there are things that we don't know of just by looking at the packaging. So when we're in doubt, definitely if we see and we can have the certainty that the product is vegan or vegetarian, then we definitely buy it. So this leads to the next topic, which is almost self-explanatory with the previous one, that it's we consider ourselves better informed thanks to the V labels. 95% of the respondents said that they are better informed because we have actually understood as a community that we don't always have all the information just by looking at the packaging. And of course, then this makes shopping a lot easier. And this all, again, 87.8% saying that it makes our shopping experience easier. What brands need to understand is that this is a customer satisfaction topic. So of course it's easier to shop, and it makes our purchase decision process easier and so on. But it's also a really big opportunity because it increases the visibility of the brands that carry the label. 79% of the respondents of the survey said that they consciously pay more attention to products with the V label. So that's a large percentage of consumers that are actively looking. Actually, 64% look for products with the V label, and I can recognize myself there as well, like especially when you don't have a lot of time, you just scan through the shelves and look for the label to pick something, because we don't always have the time to be reading all the labels, and there's always still the question mark, like, do I know everything just by looking at the ingredients list? So because of all of this, 78% of the respondents say that they generally trust the product with the V label more. And this, again, we are more and more educated as the number of vegans and vegetarians and even flexitarians is increasing. There's more influencers talking about it, there's more education, and we are better informed about what a product being vegan or vegetarian is. And that's why we really need to have that certainty that a product is vegan or vegetarian when we're shopping. And that's why we trust more the products that have the label, because this is not a company just saying whatever they want to say, because they could actually say whatever, but it's a third party certifying it. Another very interesting topic, apart from the trust that a product can have by being certified, how it stands out next to other products, or that makes the shopping experience easier and hassle-free for the consumer, it's that we surveyed our consumers about what else do they associate with the label, and some very interesting topics came up here. So of course, better orientation when buying. This is very much linked to what we have been discussing. 96% have better orientation, so it helps our purchase decision, and it makes the product selection easier for 95% of the respondents. So once again, picture yourself being in the supermarket, having, you know, three options and one of them having the V label. Which one are you gonna go for if you're vegan or vegetarian? And I can say that for myself, I've been there too. And for me, it's a very easy and simple choice if I see one is certified and the other are not. It gives higher credibility, because in the end, and we know, marketing claims, everyone could pretty much say anything today. And I think there's been a boom about that with the internet and with social media. So everyone is just claiming to be something or to do something, but people have been a bit more skeptical as well. So with the V-label, companies have a higher credibility. Now, what is really interesting, and I'll show you some examples in just a moment, is that things that do not have to do with the label, strictly speaking, because really the label is really just certifying that the product is either vegan and or vegetarian with all its ingredients and processing methods, or that it hasn't been tested on animals. But people, in 56% of the people, associated with a higher premium of quality, which I think is very interesting for brands, because the label carries more value than just being a vegan or vegetarian label. If you certify your product, people immediately associate it in 56% of the cases with a product of higher quality, and also 50% of the cases with the product being healthier. And please do not misunderstand me. This doesn't mean that every product with the V label is healthy or it's of a better quality, but this is what the consumer understands, which in the end is what matters to the brand, because the consumer, based on their assumptions, are going to be making their purchase decisions. So we're not declaring that the products are of a higher quality or healthier, but that's what consumers believe. And this is very important for brands, because this means that this could be elevating your products. And the V label could help you attach to these attributes. Now, something super interesting. We actually asked people, how much are you ready to pay for these products? And we showed them the exact same product, one of them having the label and the other one not having the V label. And consistently, people were ready to pay more for products with the V label. So you can see here, for instance, 17.38% of the respondents were ready to pay the highest price, 2.4 euros, €2.40. If it didn't have the V label, only 13% were ready to pay that, which means if you have the V label, maybe you can also charge a premium, because it's everything that we've said. If I go to the supermarket, I look at the shelf, I see 5 options and only one has the V label, I'm ready to pay that little extra because I have the certainty, rather than buying something where I don't really know whether it's vegan or not. And we've asked this question not only for this one almond milk, for instance, also for plant-based meats, which, we could think sometimes, yeah, but if my product is already designed to be plant-based, don't I have already all those attributes, or is that not trust enough? Well, we've asked for this like meat Supreme Burger, and again, for the highest price that we proposed, which was €2.70, 43.77% were ready to pay for the highest price if the product had the V label, and 10 points less, so 33.77% if it didn't have the V label. And same for other category of products here, confectionery and snacks. So we have a dark chocolate. Again, a product, vegans usually go for dark chocolate because, we know that it doesn't have milk, but still, even for a product that we kind of understand that it could be accidentally vegan, or that we kind of trust because we know that it probably doesn't have milk, again and again, we see that people are ready to pay more. We propose three different prices, €1.30, €1.50, €1.70. And for the highest price, €1.70, 34.81% of the respondents were ready to pay that price if it had the V label, whereas only 24% of the participants would have paid that much if it didn't have the V label. So again, 10 points of difference, which is quite a high difference. I think it's very relevant and remarkable that the difference is so high because of the V label, especially, like I said, in products like dark chocolate or plant-based milk, plant-based milk, yes, and plant-based meat, where maybe a brand thinks I'm already positioning myself as such, so I don't need to be certified. But this proves that people are still valuing very much the transparency and the certainty that the product is actually vegan. So all in all, a bit of a summary of what we've been discussing here. The V label, what we've learned through surveying more than 23,000 consumers around the world, is that it provides with increased visibility, credibility, and convenience for the shoppers, which is convenience. I think it's also very important. All in all, 79% agree that they consciously pay more attention to products with the V label, which is a very high percentage. We actively look for it. 61% they do look for the products, so they would not pay attention to the products that are not certified. Also very high percentage for that. 64% prefer to buy products with the V label symbol other than other products. And like I said, if you're shopping and you have a few products next to each other, and one has the label, the others don't have it, of course we usually tend to buy the one that has it. And then 78% worldwide trust the products with the V label more than products without it. So all these attributes that I was just mentioning that attach to a product thanks to be carrying the V label. So just a very short summary, like the key takeaways of what the survey has taught us is really that thanks to the V label, brands can get a higher visibility, higher trust, and they could even be thinking of charging a premium because they stand out more next to other products. And customers are ready to pay more when they have the certainty that the products are actually vegan or vegetarian. And that's it for the data for the survey. Like I said, I still encourage you very much to download it and look at it at your own pace. Also, really look at the different data sets because there's some topics that I haven't covered. I just really wanted to give you an overview of the main key takeaways.
Well, thank you very much, Jennifer. That was really interesting. Certainly, me as a consumer, also a vegan consumer, I absolutely agree with the results. I mean, of course, I participated in the survey as well as a consumer, but I also just as a background information for the participants watching. So I live in France, but I'm originally from Germany. And in Germany, in the supermarkets, for example, we already have the chance, or we are lucky that supermarkets indicate, okay, here's like a vegan shelf. And so you can go basically blind there and go for shopping. But in many other countries, so right now I'm living in France and it's not so developed yet. So when you go in the supermarket, you literally need to find in a big bunch of many non-vegan or non-vegetarian products. And therefore, I very often just search for the V-label certification because they are mixed up with other products and you cannot be sure. And so this very yellow, flashy certification, this round circle, just helps you so much to find your products quickly and easily in the supermarket. So just from the customer side, I absolutely agree. And also regarding the different countries, we need to see some differences because some European countries are a little bit more developed regarding the presentation of vegan or vegetarian products in their supermarkets, and some are not. And also, as we're talking about the customer side, I remember from our previous V-Label webinars, we have had some brands talking from the other side, the other point of view. So that means to enter a supermarket as a brand. And so for many retailers or wholesalers, it is very important to see that the brand is already certified to actually get easier some shelf space, because they can trust that it's already certified, and I don't need to necessarily do all the researches and check the facilities and suppliers to really prove the way of production and the actual ingredients. So this was also very helpful for brands to enter the market, to enter supermarkets or online shops to have the V-Label certification. Jennifer, during the webinar, so during your presentation, I wrote down a couple of questions. I'm not quite sure if anyone else had some questions, otherwise I would go for it, because there were so many high percentages, give mostly almost all were over 90%. And it was quite obvious that customers, they prefer V-Label certified products, but that's just something which is in the survey. So what are what's the customer's reality? Can you say a little bit more about this maybe?
Yeah, so like I said, I think people are more and more educated, and this is something very important to understand. Maybe especially people when they are at the beginning of the journey, they think that they can read a list of ingredients and that's enough. But the more you learn about, how food is produced, and when you make the decision to become vegan or vegetarian, normally you start educating yourself a lot. You start learning that the food label, so meaning the ingredient list, is really not enough to understand whether the product is vegan or vegetarian. So people are understanding that accidentally vegan is really maybe a utopia. Sometimes it doesn't really mean that the product is vegan. We just think from the ingredient list that it is. And that's why it's so important, because many people have sometimes been like disappointed that they thought something was vegan from the ingredient list, and then they find out later on that it actually is not. So accidentally vegan, I think it's a bit of a myth, and people are understanding that, and they want to have the certainty. They also understand that processing methods are not declared, so it's not just about ingredients that can be or not be vegan, because that happens sometimes too, that you have one ingredient, and even if you do your research online on Google, you will find can or cannot be, from animal sources, and then you're like left with the question mark. But people are understanding that while ingredients might be declared, processing methods are not. Like a very stereotypical example is wine. Like we just don't know if the wine is a clarified wine. Has it been clarified with gelatin or with, egg parts, or maybe other methods that they have, because they can do it with like even potato or ceramics, but you just don't know from the label. And the only way you could know is because the product is actually certified. Why is it so important? Also, like I said, the ease of the shopping experience, and you've been talking about that, Svanche. I also relate to what you were saying, because I live in Spain, so this is not Germany, far from being Germany in terms of the availability of vegan and vegetarian products. Actually, I get jealous sometimes when I see how much is available somewhere else, and I wish that they launched the products over here too. But it's really the same, when you just go shopping and you have to start reading labels, it's just very time consuming. And nowadays we live in a very like hectic world, and we just don't have the time to invest. Like, you will only invest the time to really read through all the labels if you had no easy option. If nothing was certified, then you start reading the labels. But if something is certified and you're in a hurry, what will you take? So I think that the fact that this provides such a good user experience is one of the key things, apart from, of course, having the certainty on why people really prefer products with the V-Label. I think that we should not forget as well, and I've seen that myself, I think that many people will relate, that there is also many non-vegans and non-vegetarians shopping for vegans and vegetarians, like families and relatives and friends that need to organize something. And I have literally had my brother saying, oh, I just went to the supermarket and I bought everything with the label because I didn't know what to cook for you or something. So it makes our life easier, but sometimes it also makes life easier for people around us that want to cater for us or to, to be nice to us. And the last and most important one, like I said, transparency. It's having the trust, or being so sure about what you do that you can invite a third party to check your facilities, to check your suppliers, to check your list of ingredients, not just like checking the list that is on the packaging, but really going down to the point of who's your supplier and how do they operate. Really shows that a brand is transparent. And I think that transparency is one of the values that consumers today appreciate the most for brands, not only about the food industry or cosmetics around vegan and vegetarian, but really about everything. We're asking brands, and this is very much like what millennials and the next Gen Z are also asking for. We want brands to be um, to have values, to be consistent with their values, to be sustainable, to be eco-friendly, and to be transparent. So showing with the certification of the third party that you are actually, opening your doors to someone to come and check what you do is of very much value to the consumers.
I absolutely agree in all the points you mentioned from the customer side, of course. Once again, yeah, we live in different countries, and so customer experience is different. The presence of V-label or of certified products is different. I can really just agree that when you have the certification on a product, it's really helpful to proceed your shopping, and as you said, it's helping also the others, and it's helping us ourselves. So, but when there is a non-certified product, I mean, what's happening then? Can we judge this? Can we say this? Is customers say, okay, then we don't take it, or what do you think about this aspect?
Yeah, I think that the main thing with a product that is not certified, it's like it raises the question, why is it not certified? Like if you're standing next to other products, like say margarine, like supposedly not made out of milk, but I have had that as a customer myself, like this, even sometimes the same brand has a product that is certified and the other one is not certified. And then even if you were to read the ingredient list and you didn't see anything there, then you start wondering, so why is this one not certified? Does it mean that it's produced somewhere where it is cross-contaminated, or they're using a processing method that includes animal parts or animals or something like that? So I think that the main thing is that you spark in the customer, like if your product is not certified, you're giving room for doubts. You're giving room for questioning whether this is really vegan or not vegan, or vegetarian or not vegetarian. And that, you don't want that in your customer journey. Like you don't want your customers to be hesitating and being doubtful about your products. And then the other part is really so one thing is about this trust and giving room for hesitation, but the other part is also uh, expecting the customer to spend too much time to find out about your product. Like sometimes customers don't have the time, and I'm not only talking about reading the food label. It's also sometimes you have, especially with cosmetics, like like you have to go online, like, is this really vegan, is it not vegan? So just imagine, like, you don't have time to do your shopping and to be checking every product online to see whether someone mentioned on a blog that, yes, I actually called the brand and they told me it is vegan. But then even then, you cannot really trust it, because it's like anyone can write a blog about it. So I think that this is the two things: the hesitation you can spark in a customer, but also that in today's world you cannot expect customers to spend so much time to find out about your brand. You need to give it easy for them. You need to give them all the information so that their purchase decision process is as smooth and easy as possible. We cannot hear you.
Yeah, thank you so much. And about what you mentioned about the products in the market when they are not certified. Also regarding like when you are vegetarian, we have more and more non-vegan cheese, so really classical cheese based on dairy milk. We have even more and more being certified vegetarian to also prove vegetarian consumers that cheese, because it can be also filtered by some animal organs, so it cannot be called vegetarian because there is some like ingredients based on animal origin. And so we have more and more also cheese labels being certified as really vegetarian cheese because they don't have the same filtering production. And that's really interesting also regarding the wine, what you mentioned for not necessarily consumers that are avoiding meat or but like omnivore, we call them. And so for them, it's also very helpful. So it's spreading. It's not only a niche, but it's really spread the certification to gain trust for many, many consumers. If we stay here in France and we talk about vegan cheese, because the French people, they love cheese, okay? And so we have a huge consumption of cheese here in France. And we have more and more vegan cheese producers, which is really, really nice because they have absolutely great products. I just at the weekend, I tested some new camembert alternatives, and they were really amazing. And also there was the question coming up, why they're not certified? So this is reflecting exactly what you just said. So it's really interesting. But if we take this example for vegan cheese in France, what is it changing if this one would be certified, for example?
Yeah, so I think that, for instance, if you were to be a vegan cheese producer in France to be certified, apart from everything that we've mentioned around the visibility that you get on the shelf and the credibility and transparency and so on, I think that we now more than ever have, like, we live in a global world, in a global market, and to have a globally recognized label can really help you enter new markets. So as you were saying before as well, many supermarket chains have this, I guess, on their checklist. If you want to enter maybe a German market that is a little bit more developed when it comes to the vegan and vegetarian offerings, maybe you are not able, or you have a greater obstacle or barrier to access that market. You're not certified, because it will be a requirement in many cases to have proof that your product is actually vegan through an internationally recognized label, like the V label. It also doesn't really count to just make your own and things like that, because that doesn't really say anything. Again, it's a claim that you can do by yourself. And I think that if we were to really talk about a cheese producer, it would be a great opportunity, because this survey that we were mentioning that was launched by Proveg and published in 2020, the European Consumer Survey on plant-based foods, they're saying that people are craving for cheese alternatives because people are not really happy with either the taste or the price or the nutritional values. Like nowadays, there are many alternatives that don't have great nutritional values, and the ones that have it don't have a great price and things like that. So I think that for someone that is already doing their homework and creating a great product at a price point that is right for the customer, it just increases their chances to really succeed and to enter new markets and to definitely be seen by consumers and to be noticed.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. That was quite a huge information, really helpful and interesting, even for me, some data I didn't even know. So thank you so much. If we don't have any questions for Jennifer anymore, I just shared the link to download the survey for free. We can also send you the link later in an email, so no worries. Then you can download the survey at another moment. And so thank you very much once again, Jennifer. I would hand it to Katie. So once again, to present Katie quickly, he is the head of V-Label in Germany, working at Proveg International. They have certified already so many products. And so maybe, Katie, you can tell us a little bit more about yourself and small introduction about V-Label. And we talk about so much certifications. Which products do we actually certify? I mean, the list is quite long, I think. So please go ahead.
Thank you very much, Svantje. I have to say, first of all, it made me very proud when both you and Jennifer were talking about how much you enjoy, as vegans, going to German supermarkets, because I am the head of V-Label in Germany, and that means I oversee all V-Label activities in Germany, be that quality assurance, customer support, and so on. So yeah, this is huge, and it's mainly due to the fantastic work that my team is doing in Germany, where they've really done a great job establishing the V-Label. And you asked which products we license. So We started off in food, and we have licensed around 40,000 products. In recent years, though, we have also started venturing into other areas. So we are also licensing cosmetic products, non-food like DIY products, and yeah, all sorts of things. I think the craziest request we ever got was for firefighter helmets. So yeah, if you have a product and you would like to get it V-Label certified, please do get in touch and we will try to find a way.
Okay, I never heard about this fire. I mean, that's the first question I would ask myself. What could be not vegan inside this? You know, I mean, it's probably metal or plastic, probably the source, the production. But yeah, requests can be quite widely spread. And as you mentioned, I see also more and more V-Label certified non-food products. Also, we had already a cosmetics webinar with some V-Label certified cosmetic brands. And for them, that was quite helpful also to enter the market, because there are some ingredients in the composition of cosmetics which can, not from the name, be sourced, like, you know, you can't know the source if it's really origin from animals or from plants. And just by the name, you couldn't know. And so for them, it was really helpful to have vegan certification by the V-Label, which I found really interesting. I had a question for you as well, if you don't mind, because I know that you also want to share a small presentation.
Oh, good.
But we know each other. I always have a lot of questions. Sometimes, regarding ingredients and the composition, which I just mentioned, it's just simply not enough. Maybe you can tell us a little bit more about this and give more examples.
Of course. So we actually get that question quite a lot. Why is it not enough to simply read the list of ingredients? And Jennifer and you have both already touched upon it. First of all, I have to say, for us, it's already a huge win when the shopping is so much easier and more hassle-free for people looking for vegan products, when they can just look for our little label and then they know and can feel safe that the product really is vegan. But of course, there's a lot of reasons why it's not enough to just read the list of ingredients. There is, well, people always expect to see animal products in the list, like eggs or milk, but it's not that simple. Many times, the animal products actually hide behind unfamiliar names, like those numbers or flavors or scientific terms that you probably wouldn't understand unless you have a background in food science or something related. On top of that, as you already said, it's a big issue in cosmetics, but also in food, that some ingredients can be animal-based or plant-based. So by reading the list of ingredients, you have no way of knowing if that product is actually vegan or not. And last but not least, companies use production additives. And in many cases, they are animal products. And these additives, they are not actually part of the ingredients, part of the composition of the product. So they don't have to be declared on the label. So that means the label could look like the product is vegan, but actually it's not, because animal ingredients, animal products are used in order to manufacture this product. And that's exactly where the V-Label comes in, because we do check the whole production process from start to finish and really make sure that everything is vegan.
Yeah, thank you so much. In the meantime, we received a question if we have already or ever certified a vegan carpet or rug. I am not quite sure. I just know that there was a brand launching a fake cow fur carpet. You know, you have very often this cowboy style cow fur carpets, and you can find them now as a vegan version. So it's a fake one, still quite attractive to be used without that the animal is harmed for this. So I give the question to you, because I don't know if we ever certified this or if we're going to.
I have to say, I don't know either, but I probably don't know all the products that we license. So I would have to check on that one. But if the person that's asking is asking because they would like to license their own vegan rugs, then please go ahead, get in touch with us, and we would love to look into that. And yes, as you already mentioned, I have prepared a few slides to explain how to get V-Label licensed. And I would share my screen now, if that's okay.
Yeah, please share your screen. That would be super nice. Thank you.
Beautiful. Can you see my screen?
Yes, we see it perfectly.
After 1.5 years of pandemic, I'm still always struggling to find the right buttons, but now we've got it. And first, I wanted to talk about the criteria of V-Label. Of course, we do check the list of ingredients, but that is not the only thing that we do. Companies that would like to get V-Label certified actually have to adhere to quite strict hygiene standards. They must not use any GMO or animal testing, so the products have to be cruelty-free. And on top of that, we work with independent auditing bodies for regular inspections. So companies that want to license their products have to undergo regular inspections through independent bodies. And here I would like to announce that we have now a very exciting partnership with SGS, who's like a world-leading audit or regulatory body. And yeah, we're working together much more closely, where SGS actually helps to spread the V-Label among their own network. And maybe just as a very quick reminder, these criteria that are on this slide are for vegan and for vegetarian products. Vegetarian means that the product does not contain anything that used to be part of an animal, but it may contain something that was made by an animal, such as honey or milk. Whereas vegan actually means that the product must not contain anything that comes from an animal, so nothing that was made by animals either. If you would like to work with us, the first step would be to get in touch. So please go to our website. I've got the link on these slides to vlabel.eu and submit a request. We are currently present in 27 countries. The reason is that we work with local partner organizations that know the country the best, they know the market, and they are able to provide the service in the local language. So once you submit the request, then we will put you in touch with the right partner organization. They will then draft an offer for you that is based on the number of products that you would like to license, the type of product that you would like to license, and of course company details like your company size and revenue. Once the partnership agreement has been signed, we will start to check the products. For that, we will need the filled in a specification form. This form you can also download from our website, and we will need supplier confirmations for all ingredients. Once this is done and the products are approved, then they can carry the V-Label. You will get a license that is valid for 1 year. It can be extended. And well, the most important point is probably the price. Our price is twofold. You first pay a fee for the product check. That's a one-time fee. And then there will be an annual license fee that is recurring. And the exact price depends on the country that you're based in and that you're manufacturing your products in. To be honest, Jennifer has already said so much about the benefits of having the products V-Label licensed that there's not much more that I can add. There is many good sides about working with the V-Label, about working with V-Label. We will help you to get new customers. We will promote your products online and offline. We've got different channels. We really try to help our clients to, well, we've got different services. So we've got consultation services if you're about to launch a new product. We've got social media partnerships. We've got a testing community. So whatever you are trying to achieve, we want to be your expert partner trying to help you achieve the goals that you've set for yourself. And that is it from my side.
Thank you so much. Yeah, absolutely. This very last point, the service and these partnerships you enter once you get V-Label certified are so important. So, for example, I support the V-Label in France. So it's as you mentioned, it's given by local partners. So here it's the French Association for Plant-Based Food. It's the AVF, it's called. And so I'm supporting them regarding requests. And we will also probably do a webinar with a new partnership or certification in French, so to have it in the local language. And just this support, like we spread the news about new certified brands through LinkedIn, through the newsletter. So this is quite and that's just for free. It's just that we want to support the brands with their activities when they are V-Label certified. And I think this is a point which is really to be highlighted a lot, that V-Label is not only a partner, but giving you many, many services for afterwards. Also, if you have any questions, we have really a team of experts. They can answer all the questions regarding food and non-food products, or about maybe there is an issue with a supplier and you might want to change a supplier. So we have a network with contacts all over Europe once again. That's just from my part, as I like to mention things also in addition. And there is another question from, so this carpet producer, she asks, I assume it's a she, Yaisa. I'm sorry if it's maybe a male name, excuse me. So however, she's asking about the regular inspections for independent bodies. Yes, indeed. So we do inspections. Maybe, Katie, you go into the detail.
Mm-hmm. Of course, I also see there's another question about the costs. So I will answer both of those. If you work with V-Label, then we conduct regular audits. So depending on the findings of the audits, probably once a year, someone from independent organization will come to your manufacturing site and inspect everything. So the production facilities, the places where the product is manufactured, and this is mandatory for companies wanting to license their products with the V-Label. The costs for those inspections are not included in the annual fee, simply because the inspections happen irregularly, depending on the country you're based in, the findings of the audit. So of course, if we conduct an audit and there's a lot of things that maybe don't look like they should look, then we will conduct more and probably more regular inspections. Whereas if everything is perfect, then there won't be another inspection too soon after that one. So the costs are on top of the annual fee, and it really depends on which inspection body you are doing the inspection with and which country you're based in. So I can't really say how much they are, but feel free to reach out to me after this webinar, and then I can look into the price for your country.
Yeah, thank you so much for answering the question. I will also add you a small link in the chat. If you are interested in getting an offer or just finding out who would be your local partner, you can have a look in the chat and copy, paste the link. So yeah, basically see on our website who is responsible for you. You get in touch, you ask all your questions. That's what we're there for. It's a free service just to get a first offer, to get an idea, because once again, as Katie mentioned, it's depending on the country, it's depending on the status of your company, it's depending on how many products you want to get licensed. If it's, for example, the same product, but you have it in different tastes, like a drink, which is one with orange and one with strawberry, it's really depending on the formula you will choose. And so please don't hesitate to just ask the questions to get a first idea, and how we can also accompany you for the future, for the next step to enter the market, or to even grow in the market also abroad. As once again, we have a large network all over Europe, really important. And if you are planning to export, we can certainly help you here as well. We are almost at the end, so I invite everyone who is participating in today's webinar to ask the questions, if they have any. Meanwhile, if you are interested in the future webinars we are organizing, I will send you over the link for next Wednesday, so next Wednesday, we will talk about plant-based dairy alternatives regarding, for example, milk and yogurts, ice cream, and cheese, of course, once again. And so it's a free webinar, and so you can participate. You will learn how other brands use the V-label for their communication, for their market entering, and so on. And we still have 2 other webinars following. You can see them on our website. You can register for free, and you can also download them afterwards if you are not available anymore. So far, I don't see any questions anymore. That means we gave a clear presentation. So this is good what we made. Thank you so much, Jennifer and Katie, for your presence today, for your support and work with the V-label. And for all the participants which are interested to stay in touch with the 3 of us, we also have some LinkedIn profiles, so please don't hesitate to contact us through LinkedIn. Thank you very much for the time, and we wish you a very nice afternoon, and we hopefully see you for the next webinar. Goodbye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.